Hi, it's Sue. Thanks for joining me for today's Bible reading. I'm reading for August 24th, and I'm reading chapters 42 through 45 today from the World English Bible. Verse 1. Then all the captains of the forces, and Johanan the son of Kareah, and Jezaniah the son of Hoshaiah, and all the people from the least even to the greatest, came near and said to Jeremiah the prophet, Please let our supplication be presented before you. So this is just a continuation of what happened yesterday. But in case you weren't here, the Babylonians invaded for the third time Judah and Jerusalem and destroyed the city, burned everything, took everybody with him except for a small remnant, left Gedaliah to govern the land, and then somebody else came, and Ishmael came, and it's a much longer story, but came and killed Gedaliah, took some people captive. A bunch of guys went and got him back. And then some of them fled to Egypt because they were afraid Ishmael was going to come back. Okay. And the ones that went and got the people back from Ishmael were the captains of the forces that this chapter starts out talking about. So let me go back to the beginning again. Then all the captains of the forces, and Johanan son of Kareah, and Jezaniah the son of Hoshaiah, and all the people from the least to the greatest came near and said to Jeremiah the prophet. So see, Jeremiah now, the king of Babylon told him, You can come with us or you can stay here. It's up to you. He gave Jeremiah favor. So Jeremiah stayed. He actually went back to Gedaliah, but obviously Gedaliah, the governor, was killed. So now the people come to Jeremiah and they said, Please let our supplication be presented before you and pray for us to Yahweh your God, even for all this remnant, for we are left but a few of many, as your eyes see us, that Yahweh your God may show us the way in which we should walk and the things that we should do. Now there are some smart people right there. Then Jeremiah the prophet said to them, I have heard you. Behold, I will pray to Yahweh your God according to your words, and it will happen that whatever thing Yahweh answers you, I will declare it to you. I will keep nothing back from you. Then they said to Jeremiah, May Yahweh be a true and faithful witness among us, if we don't do according to all the word which Yahweh your God sends you to tell us, whether it is good or whether it's bad, we will obey the voice of Yahweh our God, to whom we send you, that it may be well with us when we obey the voice of Yahweh our God. After 10 days, Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah. Then he called Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces who were with him, and all the people from the least to the greatest, and said to them, So wow, he's being a true leader here. I mean, he got everybody to come. And he says, Yahweh, the God of Israel, to whom you sent me to present your supplication before him, says, If you will still live in this land, then I will build you and not pull you down. I will plant you and not pluck you up, for I grieve over the distress that I have brought on you. Don't be afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom you are afraid. Don't be afraid of him, says Yahweh, for I am with you to save you and to deliver you from his hand. I will grant you mercy, that he may have mercy on you and cause you to return to your own land. But if you say, We will not dwell in this land, so that you don't obey Yahweh your God's voice, saying, No, but we will go into the land of Egypt. You see, if you've been listening, this is part I talked about a while back. They said, Don't go down there. And Jeremiah knows this, and they end up, some of them at least, go down there, and they take Jeremiah with them. And sure enough, this is a spoiler alert, Egypt gets attacked. I think it was the Assyrians, or maybe it was the Babylonians that went down there. Sorry, I don't remember. But I was gonna say something. Yeah, because I keep making this correlation that Egypt was kind of like their America. People flee to America for refuge and safety. Well, that's how I see Egypt to them. It's really a fascinating parallel. So God is putting this, he's putting a hard task before them. They had to be courageous and trust him, even though it looked like the smart thing to do was to expat to Egypt. And for the safety of their families and their children, this is stuff. They had to have confidence that Jeremiah was truly a prophet speaking for God, but he had just proven that everything he'd been telling them just happened right before their eyes. But still, we fight the same battle today as whether we're going to believe what we see with our own eyes, or we're going to trust the Lord. Yeah. Okay, so it says, let me give you a practical example of that. people lie to their bosses because they're afraid they're going to lose their job, or they, you know, sometimes they'll obey government over the Lord because they're afraid. So let's see what happens in this story here. It says, okay, he says, sorry, I'm trying to make sure where I left off. Let me just start here again. But if you say, we will not dwell in this land, so that you don't obey Yahweh your God's voice, saying, no, but we will go into the land of Egypt, where we will see no war, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor have hunger of bread, and there we will dwell. Now therefore hear Yahweh's word, O remnant of Judah. Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, if indeed you set your faces to enter into Egypt, to go live there, then it will happen that the sword which you fear will overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and the famine about which you are afraid will follow close behind you there in Egypt, and you will die there. Why? Because God knows exactly what's going to happen. 17. So will it be with all the men who set their faces to go into Egypt to live there. They will die by the sword, by the famine, and by pestilence. None of them will remain or escape from the evil that I will bring on them. For Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, as my anger and my wrath has been poured out on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so my wrath will be poured out on you when you enter into Egypt, and you will be an object of horror and astonishment, a curse, a reproach, and you will see this place no more. Yahweh has spoken concerning you, remnant of Judah. Don't go into Egypt. Know certainly that I have testified to you today, for you have dealt deceitfully against your own souls. For you sent me to Yahweh your God, saying, pray for us to Yahweh our God according to all that Yahweh our God says. So declare to us, and we will do it. I have declared it to you today, but you have not obeyed Yahweh your God's voice in anything for which he has sent me to you. Now therefore know certainly that you will die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence in the place where you desire to go to live there. Chapter 43. When Jeremiah had finished speaking to all the people all the words of Yahweh their God, with which Yahweh their God had sent him to them, even all these words, then Azariah the son of Hoshea, Johanan the son of Kareah, and all the proud men spoke, saying to Jeremiah, you speak falsely. Yahweh your God has not sent you to say, you shall not go into Egypt and live there. But Baruch the son of Neriah has turned you against us to deliver us into the hand of the Chaldeans, that they may put us to death and carry us away captive to Babylon. Oy vey. Can you imagine that? No wonder Jeremiah was called the weeping prophet. My goodness. Okay, verse 4. So Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces and all the people didn't obey Yahweh's voice to dwell in the land of Judah. But Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces took all the remnant of Judah who had returned from all the nations where they had been driven to live in the land of Judah, the men and the women and the children and the king's daughters and every person whom Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had left with Gedaliah the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, and Jeremiah the prophet, and Baruch the son of Neriah, and they came into the land of Egypt, for they didn't obey Yahweh's voice, and they came to Taphanes. Then Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah in Taphanes, saying, take great stones in your hand and hide them in mortar in the brickwork which is at the entry of Pharaoh's house in Taphanes in the sight of the men of Judah. And tell them, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, behold, I will send and take Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, my servant, and will set his throne on these stones that I have hidden, and he will spread his royal pavilion over them. He will come and will strike the land of Egypt. Such as are for death will be put to death, and such as are for captivity to captivity, and such as are for the sword, the sword. I will kindle a fire in the houses of the gods of Egypt. He will burn them and carry them away captive. He will array himself with the land of Egypt as a shepherd puts on his garment, and he will go out from there in peace. He will also break the pillars of Beth-Shemesh that is in the land of Egypt, and he will burn the houses of the gods of Egypt with fire. Chapter 44. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews who live in the land of Egypt, who lived at Migdol, at Taphanes, at Memphis, in the country of Pathros, saying, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, you have seen all the evil that I have brought on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah. Behold, today they are a desolation, and no man dwells in them, because of their wickedness, which they have committed to provoke me to anger, in that they went to burn incense to serve other gods that they didn't know, neither they, nor you, nor your fathers. However, I sent to you all my servants the prophets, rising up early, there's that phrase again, rising up early, and sending them saying, oh, don't do this abominable thing that I hate. Now remember, these were true abominations. They were sacrificing children on the fire, and that's just one of the unspeakable things that they did for these demons that they worshipped. And God would plead with them in his unfailing love, long suffering, and kindness, loving kindness, in his mercy. And he always gave them a message of hope, a way out. And they just refused to listen. Um, so he said, he warned them, saying, "Oh, don't do this abominable thing that I hate." But they didn't listen and didn't incline their ear. They didn't turn from their wickedness to stop burning incense to other gods. Therefore my wrath and my anger was poured out and was kindled in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem, and they are wasted and desolate as it is today. Therefore now Yahweh, the God of armies, the God of Israel, says, why do you commit great evil against your own souls to cut off from yourselves men and women, infant and nursing child out of the middle of Judah, to leave yourselves no one remaining? In that you provoke me to anger with the works of your hands, burning incense to other gods in the land of Egypt, where you have gone to live, that you may be cut off, and that you may be a curse and a reproach among all the nations of the earth. It's like they didn't even learn from what happened in Jerusalem. Amazing. Verse 9, have you forgotten the wickedness of your fathers and the wickedness of the kings of Judah, and the wickedness of your wives and your own wickedness and the wickedness of your wives, which they committed in the land of Judah, in the streets of Jerusalem? They are not humbled even to this day, neither have they feared, nor walked in my law, nor in my statutes that I set before you and your fathers. Therefore Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, behold, I will set my face against you for evil, even to cut off all Judah. I will take the remnant of Judah that have set their faces to go into the land of Egypt, to live there, and they will be consumed. They will fall in the land of Egypt. They will be consumed by the sword and by famine. They will die from the least even to the greatest by the sword and by the famine. They will be an object of horror and astonishment and a curse and a reproach. For I will punish those who dwell in the land of Egypt as I have punished Jerusalem, by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, so that no one of the remnant of Judah who have gone into the land of Egypt to live there will escape or be left to return into the land of Judah, to which they have a desire to return to dwell there, for no one will return except those who will escape. Then all the men who knew that their wives burned incense to other gods, and all the women who stood by, a great assembly, even all the people who lived in the land of Egypt, in Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, as for the word that you have spoken to us in Yahweh's name, we will not listen to you. But we will certainly perform every word that has gone out of your mouth, to burn incense to the queen of the sky, and to pour out drink offerings to her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of food, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we stopped burning incense to the queen of the sky, and pouring out drink offerings to her, we have lacked all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. Boy, are they deceived. 19. The woman said, when we burned incense to the queen of the sky, and poured out drink offerings to her, did we make her cakes to worship her, and pour out drink offerings to her without our husbands? Then Jeremiah said to all the people, to the men and to the women, even to the people who had given him an answer, saying, the incense that you burned in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem, you and your fathers, your kings and your princes, and the people of the land, didn't Yahweh remember them, and didn't it come into his mind? Thus Yahweh could no longer bear it, because of the evil of your doings, and because of the abominations which you have committed. Therefore your land has become a desolation and an astonishment and a curse, without inhabitant, as it is today. Because you have burned incense, and because you have sinned against Yahweh, and have not obeyed Yahweh's voice, nor walked in his law, nor his statutes, nor his testimonies, therefore this evil has happened to you, as it is today. So he's saying, no, let me, get it straight. It wasn't that, you burned incense and you to the queen of the sky and you had everything you need, and when you stopped, you went into famine. That's not it. You went into famine because you didn't obey God. So, where did that off? My phone flipped. Okay. 24. Moreover, Jeremiah said to all the people, including all the women, hear Yahweh's word, all Judah who are in the land of Egypt. Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, you and your wives have both spoken with your mouths and with your hands, have fulfilled it, saying, we will surely perform our vows that we have vowed, to burn incense to the queen of the sky, and to pour out drink offerings to her. Establish then your vows, and perform your vows. Therefore hear Yahweh's word, all Judah who dwell in the land of Egypt. Behold, I have sworn by my great name, says Yahweh, that my name will no more be named in the mouth of any man of Judah in the land of Egypt, saying, as the Lord Yahweh lives. Behold, I will watch over them for evil and not for good, and all the men of Judah who are in the land of Egypt will be consumed by the sword and by the famine until they are all gone. Those who escape the sword will return out of the land of Egypt into the land of Judah, few in number. All the remnant of Judah who have gone into the land of Egypt to live there will know whose word will stand, mine or theirs. This will be a sign to you, says Yahweh, that I will punish you in this place, that you may know that my words will surely stand against you for evil. Yahweh says, behold, I will give Pharaoh Hophra, king of Egypt, into the hand of his enemies and into the hand of those who seek his life, as I gave Zedekiah, king of Judah, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, who was his enemy and sought his life. Chapter 45, last chapter. The message of Jeremiah the prophet spoke to Baruch the son of Neriah when he wrote these words in a book at the mouth of Jeremiah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim son of Josiah the king of Judah, saying, Yahweh the God of Israel says to you, Baruch, you said, woe is me now, for Yahweh has added sorrow to my pain. I am weary with my groaning and find no rest. You shall tell them, Yahweh says, behold, that which I have built I will break down, and that which I have planted I will pluck up, and this is in the whole land. Do you seek great things for yourself? Don't seek them. For behold, I will bring evil on all flesh, says Yahweh, but I will let you escape with your life wherever you go. That's it for today's reading. Thanks for joining me. Shalom, shalom.